Welcome to the Director's Cut Podcast, a part of StoryTown Radio Show. In this podcast, we will feature stories that didn't make the final cut for the live radio show, but they are excellent stories and need to be shared. Our second edition was submitted for the March 2024 I Will Not Be Moved Stories of Perseverance radio show, featuring stories about strong weather and even stronger women. This story was written by Lisa Holley about her grandmother, Minnie Morris Shepherd. It is performed by Gregg Huddlestone, Laurie Herlich, Chloe Reed, and there's a special cameo by Lisa Holley herself. Here now is the story of Minnie Morris Shepherd.
It was March 1945, and World War II was going strong with Allied forces invading Germany, while Marines had just landed on the beach of Iwo Jima that started a battle with the Imperial Army of Japan in February. The number one movie at the box office was A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, and the cost of admission was only 35 cents. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was in his last month as president. He later died in April. In Carfax, Virginia, Minnie Morris Shepherd had just gone into labor with her last baby.
I remember that day well. It was March 7th, 1945, because I woke with terrible labor pains. The weather was so cold, we ran our wood stove 24 hours a day to keep our little house warm. Lord willing, this would be our baby number 15. Alice, can you make a pot of oatmeal for everyone? With 7 little ones still living at home, my first chore every day was to get everyone fed.
Sure, Mommy. I'll get that started.
Thanks, sweetheart. You are such a blessing to me. I miss your daddy so much and know he'd be so proud of you. I could still remember the day we got married back in 1921. We had a dream to have a big family one day with over 20 children just like our parents.
Mommy, tell me about your first baby.
About a year after we got married, we had your older brother James, and not too long after that, I got pregnant again, and we had a set of twins born prematurely, but they didn't make it.
Aren't you a twin too?
I am. My twin was named Lily Morris, and she died shortly after we were born on March 17th, 1902 in Scott County, Virginia.
What happened to Isabel, our older sister?
After James and the twins, we also had Helen, Arlene, and Nanny. Then Margaret Isabella was born in 1928. She was a sweet little red-haired girl. She got sick with a cold and never got better. She later died of pneumonia at the start of the Great Depression in 1929. It broke our hearts to lose our little girl.
What was the Great Depression?
It lasted about 10 years and was all over the world. People had a hard time finding jobs and feeding their families. Times were tough. That's when your daddy started cutting hair on the weekends to help make ends meet. During the week, he worked for the Interstate Railroad as a section hand.
Are you okay, Mommy?
My contractions are getting stronger, about 5 minutes apart. I think it's time to send for the midwife.
How are we going to get the midwife?
Without a telephone or car, I'll have to send your brothers to fetch her.
I'll help Billy and CJ get their coats, hats, and gloves on and tell them to hurry.
Thanks, Alice. I'll make a big pot of soup and some cornbread before my labor pains get too bad. Having supper ready tonight and leftovers for tomorrow will be a big help to feed everyone.
You should lay down for a while. I'll look after Kenneth, Lorraine, Peggy, and Dolly while you rest.
I think I will. I'm exhausted. Laying down on my bed felt so good. My contractions were now constant, and the feeling of pressure was overwhelming. My best guess was it was time to push. Alice, can you come into the bedroom?
When I stepped in the door, I could tell something was going on. Mommy, what's wrong?
Alice, it's just you and me right now. You're going to have to help me deliver this baby. Your brothers went for the midwife, and she may or may not make it on time.
What do I need to do?
Once the baby is born, you'll need to wrap it in a blanket quickly to keep it warm. It's very important the baby does not catch a chill.
Okay, I'm ready.
After a few good pushes, I delivered my baby, another son. The midwife arrived and helped me get cleaned up. I was so grateful the baby was healthy and nursing well. However, my heart was filled with mixed joy and sadness.
Mommy, what are we going to name our new brother?
Dayton Leon Shepherd was the name I picked out. I just wished Willie could be here to meet his new son. He would be so happy. On October 7th, 1944, the previous year, my sweet husband Willie Shepherd had died when I was 4 months pregnant. He died of a disease called white lung or silicosis from his many years of dumping ballast or crushed rock for the Interstate Railroad.
Minnie, a middle-aged widow, gave birth to my father Leon that day at the age of 43. She later remarried in 1960 to her second husband, Alan.
Minnie did indeed give birth to a total of 15 children. She lost 3 of her children before the age of 2. However, she had 12 children who grew to become adults. In her later years of life, Minnie lost 3 adult children, and she said no parent should ever have to bury their own child. Minnie Morris Shepherd Johnson died on April 11th, 1992, at the age of 90. She had 58 grandchildren, 74 great-grandchildren, and 9 great-great-grandchildren. Her dream of having a big family had come true.
Thank you for tuning in for the Director's Cut podcast, a part of StoryTown Radio Show. Check in next month for more stories. StoryTown is supported by Tennessee Arts Commission, Trivia with Buds, The Silver Raven, Gary and Sandy Degner, and Mountain Empire Cremation and Burial Services, and of course, the Wild Women of Jonesboro.